1300 through the 1920s, life in California was filled with opportunity. As more and more people moved to California, businesses and jobs grew. But the good times ended along with the 1920s, and a decade of struggle would follow. 1929 marked a turning point in American history. This is when the stock market failed. The stock market is the business of buying and selling shares or pieces of companies. The failure of the stock market marked the beginning of a period known as the Great Depression. A depression is a period when there is little business activity and many people don't have jobs. As a result of the Great Depression, banks and businesses closed in California and across the country. Millions of people lost their jobs, their life savings, and even their homes. Some Californians blamed immigrants. They believed immigrants were taking their jobs. Before long, the state forced many people from Mexico and other countries to leave. Yet people still flooded into California, searching for work. In the 1930s, more than 1 million people from other parts of the country came to California. Many people came from the Midwest and Southwest because of a bad drought. A drought is a long period of time without rain. In fact, the drought was so bad in states like Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas that the area was called the Dust Bowl. Crops and animals died and farms closed. Soon farmers and their families headed west, in many cases to California. Thousands of families moved to California's Central Valley from the Dust Bowl states, but when they arrived, they found that jobs were hard to find. Many ended up working in the fields as migrant workers, picking crops for low pay. Dust Bowl farmers had come to California dreaming of a new life, but instead faced many of the same struggles they'd left behind. The Great Depression lasted for more than a decade, finally coming to an end when the United States entered World War II in 1941. Businesses began making supplies to help our country during the war, and this meant new jobs for Californians. Suddenly, California's agricultural, manufacturing, shipbuilding, and lumber industries were booming. California's ports became busy places again, and new aircraft and weapons plants opened. It was a difficult time, but just like the rest of the nation, California was finally able to put the Great Depression behind it. The job boom of the 1940s brought more people to California, but supplies were short during wartime. Food and gas shortages led to inflation. Inflation is when prices rise, and when they did, rationing began. To ration is to allow people only a limited amount of something because it is in short supply. World War II had other negative effects on California. After the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, the United States declared war on Japan. Many Americans feared that Japanese Americans would support Japan in the war. In February 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered 120,000 Japanese Americans living throughout the West to be held against their will in internment camps, some of which were located in California. By the time they were released, when World War II ended in 1945, many Japanese Americans had lost their jobs, businesses, and homes. With the Great Depression and World War II, the 1930s and 1940s proved to be a challenging time, but also a period of growth for California. Yet, despite these difficult years, one thing never changed. People from all over continued to settle in California with the hope that they had found their land of opportunity.